We can easily lose the enjoyment of God's presence in the first place through pride. Pride. Forget how dependent you are on the presence of God and begin to think that you can get along without the presence of the Lord, and you will see how quickly you can lose the enjoyment of the Lord's presence. The fact of the matter is, God has just made us so that we can't get along without Him. In Psalm 138, verse 6, though the Lord be high, yet hath he respect unto the lowly, but the proud he knoweth afar off. Now that doesn't speak of enjoying the presence of God if He knows you afar off. It's at a distance. The proud, that's the operative word. And you can read both in the Word of God and in church history how the Lord's presence has been lost because, like for instance, the church of Laodicea, God's people can get to a place where they imagine that they are rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, not even God's presence. They can get by without it. In that state, the Lord's people think they can do the work of the ministry and they can live the Christian life. They can get by with the programs and the money and the personalities and orthodox theology and an intellectual understanding of the Word of God. But God is conspicuous in their lives by His absence. You don't enjoy the presence of the Lord because through pride, that presence has been forfeited because God knows the proud afar off. A church may have large buildings and large crowds and big budgets, but that doesn't mean that God is there because they have that. I also want to point out that just because you have a small building and a small congregation and a small budget to go with it doesn't automatically mean that God is there either. Pride can be found in the twos and threes as well as in the thousands. What we need to be aware of is that pride will cause the Lord to depart, to withdraw, no matter what size we are. And when you look into heaven and you see what John saw, you find that humility was conspicuous by its presence. I mean, even going back to chapter 1, when the Lord appears to John for the first time, he falls down on his face. It happens throughout the book. Here again in chapter 7. They're all falling down before the throne on their faces and giving all the glory and the honor to God on the throne. That is humility. An expression of a humble heart. That is what you find among those who are close to the throne. They are close to the throne. They're close. They are really, really enjoying the presence of the Lord. And there's no pride about them. If only we had a better grasp of how much God detests pride. If only. Was it not the first sin in creation? Was that not what drove Lucifer? I will ascend to the throne of the Most High God.